So, may I ask you, what made you interested in the art of the Peredvizhniki in the first place?
Yeah, initially it was something very personal and very accidental. I was a student and I was interested in 19th century painting, and I happened to come across work by Ivan Kramskoy, a work that's in this exhibition of a peasant head. And I thought the work so unusual, so unique, so finely painted, that somebody should choose such an odd subject to make into a painting, that I looked further for Kramskoy and looked further for the artist who worked around him, and I could find nothing. There were icons, medieval icons, and there was the Russian avant-garde, but there was nothing in between. And the more I looked, the more I became intrigued that somehow we'd overlooked, written out, forgotten an entire generation of painters who in their own day were incredibly important. And it was an illustration for me of the fact that very often when you're studying art history, you're not really studying art history at all. You're studying fashion, taste, and what people now think is important of the past. So these artists were completely overlooked, and those fashions change, those tastes change, and now we get a chance to look at these artists in their entirety.
Is there anything distinctive about Russian realism?
Yeah, okay, so when you first look at these works, you might think that there's something not terribly distinctive about these works. They're rather typical of realist painting in Europe more widely, in the sense they deal with unidealized views of everyday life for people in that country. But it's the context of that production which is extremely important, that these artists are in an environment, in a milieu which is an autocracy, where there is little freedom, there's no political freedom, there's official state censorship, so that everything they paint will be viewed, possibly vetted and censored. And this makes things exceedingly delicate and diplomatic. You have to be very careful about what you voice. And if you find yourself voicing the wrong opinion or something which the state doesn't approve of, then your work will be withdrawn, it will be censored, and it will not be seen.
If you should pick just one single picture as your favorite in this exhibition, which one would that be?
I think on reflection, and that's a difficult question, it would be Ilya Repin's They Did Not Expect Him. It's a work which shows how these group of painters over 10, 15 years have come of age, have matured. It's a subtle, sophisticated painting which is dealing with a lot of complex social and political issues in a very straightforward manner, but at the same time showing a great deal of intellectual depth and thought, which shows a painter at his sophisticated best, managing to tackle some of the problems of the world around him in a very direct and at the same time very intelligent manner. And it's a work which I've looked at for very many years, maybe 20 years, and still it's a work which you can find new interest in, and it's a very enigmatic painting. What it means, we're not sure. What it's telling us seems in some way obscure, but at the same time it seems to suggest to us that there is something which we should be thinking at more deeply. So for me it's a painting which has a much deeper resonance.